Negative thinking can contribute to problems such as social anxiety, depression, stress, and low self-esteem. The key to changing your negative thoughts is to understand how you think now and the problems that result. Then use strategies to change these thoughts or make them have less of an effect. Therapy can often be helpful for changing negative thoughts, but you can also learn how to change your thought patterns. This video showcases some of the steps you can take to change your negative thoughts. Welcome to another episode of Health and Wealth. Subscribe to our channel and stay up to date with the latest uploads. Let's get into today's video. Practice mindfulness and self-awareness. Mindfulness has its roots in meditation. It is the practice of detaching yourself from your thoughts and emotions and viewing them as an outside observer. Practicing mindfulness can help you become more conscious of your thoughts and build greater self-awareness. Mindfulness sets out to change your relationship to your thoughts. Try viewing your thoughts and feelings as objects floating past you that you can stop and observe or let pass you by. The objective of mindfulness is to gain control of your emotional reactions to situations by allowing the thinking part of your brain to take over. It's been theorized that the practice of mindfulness may facilitate the ability to use thoughts more adaptively. One study found that people who engaged in a mindfulness practice experienced fewer negative thoughts after exposure to negative imagery, suggesting that mindfulness may lessen the impact of negative thinking. Identify your negative thoughts. As you observe your thoughts, work on identifying and labeling cognitive distortions and negativity. For example, if you tend to view yourself as a complete success or failure in every situation, then you are engaging in black and white thinking. Other negative thinking patterns include jumping to conclusions. This distortion involves making assumptions about what others are thinking or making negative assumptions about how events will turn out. Catastrophizing. This pattern of negative thinking is characterized by always assuming that the worst possible outcome will happen without considering more likely and realistic possibilities. Overgeneralization. This pattern is marked by a tendency to apply what happened in one experience to all future experiences. This can make negative experiences seem unavoidable and contribute to feelings of anxiety. Labeling. When people label themselves in a negative way, it affects how they feel about themselves in different contexts. Someone who labels themselves as bad at math, for example, will often feel negative about activities that involve that skill. Should statements. Thinking marked by should statements contribute to a negative perspective by only thinking in terms of what you ought to be doing. Such statements are often unrealistic and cause people to feel defeated and pessimistic about their ability to succeed. Emotional reasoning. This involves assuming that something is true based on your emotional response to it. For example, if you are feeling nervous, emotional reasoning would lead you to conclude that you must be in danger. This can escalate negative feelings and increase anxiety. Personalization and blame. This thought pattern involves taking things personally, even when they are not personal. It often leads people to blame themselves for things they have no control over. Unhelpful thinking patterns differ in subtle ways, but they all involve distortions of reality and irrational ways of looking at situations and people. Replace negative thoughts. One of the basic parts of a treatment plan involving cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, is cognitive restructuring. This process helps you to identify and change negative thoughts into more helpful and adaptive responses. Goldman suggests examining the evidence that either supports or contradicts the thought. Doing this can help you challenge negative thinking and explore alternatives that are more helpful and realistic. Although it is difficult to think with this new style at first, over time and with practice, positive and rational thoughts will come more naturally. Cognitive restructuring can help you challenge your thoughts by taking you through steps, including asking yourself if the thought is realistic. Think of what happened in the past in similar situations and evaluate if your thoughts are on course with what took place. Actively challenge the thought and look for alternative explanations. Think of what you'd gain versus what you'd lose. By continuing to believe the thought, recognize if your thought is actually a result of a cognitive distortion, such as catastrophizing. Consider what you tell a friend having the same thought. Johns Hopkins Medicine suggests trying to focus on the positive to help combat the negative thought patterns associated with depression. Ask yourself, is there any good to come out of your current situation? Avoid thought stopping. Thought stopping is the opposite of mindfulness. It is the act of being on the lookout for negative thoughts and insisting that they be eliminated. So the problem with thought stopping is that the more you try to stop your negative thoughts, the more they will surface, and this is known as thought rebounding. Mindfulness is preferable because it gives less weight to your thoughts and reduces the impact they have on you. Experts believe that the thought rebounding that takes place after trying to stop negative thoughts is much more damaging. Instead, psychologists generally recommend finding ways to deal with the negative thoughts more directly. Practice coping with criticism. In addition to cognitive restructuring, another aspect of CBT that is sometimes helpful for those with social anxiety involves something known as the assertive defense of the self. Since it is possible that some of the time people will actually be critical and judgmental toward you, it is important that you are able to cope with rejection and criticism. This process is usually conducted in therapy with a pretend conversation between you and your therapist to build up your assertiveness skills and assertive responses to criticism. These skills are then transferred to the real world through homework assignments. For example, if faced with criticism in real life, having a set of assertive responses prepared will help you deal with these potentially anxiety-provoking situations. What's more, real-life encounters are welcome as a chance to put into practice this exercise. According to this method, some research suggests that facing potential social mishaps that contribute to anxiety and negative thinking can also be helpful. The goal of improving your ability to handle criticism and rejection is to help increase your tolerance of the distress these things may cause, which may combat your automatic negative thoughts. And with that, we've reached the end of this video. If you enjoyed it and found it interesting, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more content just like this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.